Welcome everyone to the 27th episode of Conversations with T. This is T speaking, and I'm back here with one of my best friends, Aqsa. She and I recorded a few episodes in the past, and she's honestly an amazing person. She's very passionate about writing and spreading kindness, and she even has an Instagram page where her works are available. Fun facts about her include being a cat lover, being a writer in Wattpad, and being born and raised in Saudi Arabia. I'm so excited to record another episode with her, and the topics which we're going to discuss today are super interesting and relatable even. How have you been, sis? Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. Actually, because we have already shot a couple of episodes together and we get along a lot. So,
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah, it's an honor to have returned once again. And Alhamdulillah, I have been really good. And I hope the same for you.
yeah, I've been all right. Alhamdulillah. I'm just
Alhamdulillah.
so done with uni, honestly.
I
I
can understand it gets really frustrating at times.
tell me about it. Um, It- It's awesome having you back, and today's episode is going to be a very fun one. We're basically going to have a girl talk. So I specifically want to talk about a common complaint that women have when it comes to finding a good man. So yeah, I think I'll begin. I feel as though high value and good women, they don't feel valued or appreciated enough. They may have
Mhm.
many interests, have a great personality, have goals that they want to accomplish in the future and so on, but all of those things get overlooked. They may, for example, not appear a certain way, or their way of thinking or ideas are different, which some men may not like. For example, wanting to earn, getting a degree, etc. Or they may have their personal shortcomings, which they generally struggle with. But to them, it seems as if though men don't care and they just want someone perfect or someone who fits their narrative. You get me?
Of
Um,
course, we do.
as a result, these women they may start to feel as though they're not good enough, they're wrong for being themselves, and they should start looking for a man who's not right for them. What are your thoughts about this? What do you have to say?
Um, to be honest, sis, I used to have this insecurity a lot when I was younger, and I had it all the way until my early 20s too.
Mm,
And then for some reason, I began to explore more about this issue and try to I tried to get in depth, try to see the psychology, understand the way our brains work.
mm-hmm,
And it was really surprising, to be honest, that we, especially as women, we have this need to be seen by men, which
mm,
I realized much later on in my life. In my early teens, that was, of course, not something that I had even given a thought
mm-hmm,
to. So now that I had come into my early 20s, I mean, and then towards my late teens, I realized that there is no need to be seen or appreciated or being, or just because a woman is not understood by a man does not make her a less valuable woman, because we are
exactly.
often taught, I think, especially in our societies, that if you do not find a man by this age, or if you do not get married by a certain age, or if you have not become a mother by this age, it just generally means that this person or this woman is not of a high value. But
Mm,
apparently, she is somebody who's greatly disliked, maybe, and that is why, or she has a bad character, a bad personality that does not attract men. So I think our biggest problem here is, first of all, to understand that we do not really need men to complete ourselves. We have our God, we have Allah, and that is enough for a woman. Once a woman is closest to Allah and she is happy in her life with Allah, we need to really rest assured after that, that Allah will fulfill our desires and give us everything that we want in the most halal manner. And when Allah gives, sis, when Allah gives, it is really beautiful, because Allah gives you in a manner that you would have never expected to receive something. So
yeah.
we must, as I think, individuals also, and then as families, as part of society, we need to understand that this should be inculcated in our women, so that they do not have to live with this insecurity that this person is not looking at me, or I'm not being, all these other friends of mine, they're getting married and they're having children, and they're having all these, they're all living a good life, and there's me and I'm single and nobody likes me. So yes, maybe it is perhaps that you're too good for some men. I also had heard this the other day, that maybe it is that men are intimidated by you because you're just too good, and they're scared that they're not perfect enough for you. So it
You
could
know,
also be that way around. But of course,
you know
we
what?
do not tend to
You're
think that
gone. You're gone. Oh,
way.
you,
Please go on.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to say that I agree with you, and it's so hard being a high value woman. Like you mentioned earlier, some men may find them intimidating because they have great qualities, and but these men, they don't have the maturity or maybe even the humility to accept the fact that this high value woman, she's not like a lot of the women that they come across these days. She's rare. She knows what she wants in life,
Mhm.
holds on to her morals and values, but despite what society tells her to do, etc., she knows that what she's doing isn't wrong, but men running away from her or not showing interest towards her make her feel inadequate, and that's honestly a really big shame. The truth is that these men, they're so used to being around low quality women that when they actually do meet someone amazing, they don't know how to handle it. They know that this woman has more to bring to the table than her looks and body, and she's confident and she knows herself very well. They're very well aware of the fact that she won't be fooled by their pretentiousness, and they're not the type of woman who would make themselves available to just anyone. They have standards, but these men, due to them having little to no experience with dealing with high value women, they end up backing off. Not because the woman's at fault for being good, by the way. The issue is with these men. They lack the knowledge, the maturity and emotional intelligence to enter a long-term relationship, and they didn't need any of these three qualities when they kept using other women in the past who just gave themselves away as if they were nothing. And the relationships they had with those women, they were very short-lived and very superficial and very unhealthy even. And
Mhm.
instead of getting to know a high-value woman on a more personal level, they will just go back to looking for more low quality women whom they can mess around with because that's their way of feeling good about themselves. They basically equate their self-worth with the number of bodies that they can get. What do you think about that?
SubhanAllah, says it is such a sad reality, not just because this is something that is has come to be the state of many of our men today, but also because it is the state of many Muslim men today too. And that is really saddening as a reality, as a community, as an ummah. This is a very concerning too, if you ask me. And uh, women who are high value women,
Mm,
they can they can change your life. They can change your life in the sense that they have built their character, they have built their personality. They do not require any you can say any help. They don't accept help unnecessarily. They do not need you can say they do not want anyone around them who is not worthy enough, or people who are who are fooling around for the most part, and those who are not sincere enough. They do not realize this, and for the most part these men, they are, of course, again, they are first of all uneducated themselves about certain issues. Having an education is actually very different from what we think.
mm,
It is not a degree. Having an education is not, you cannot say that just because you have a degree you are educated. Education is far more complex than that. Having a degree is the, I would say that does not even come in this it cannot even you cannot even consider having a degree as saying that you do have education. Just because you have degree, that does not make much sense. Having an education really just means about how much you've developed yourself as a person.
mm,
Men today, they do not really want to work on themselves first of all, and they think that women come easily, so there's no role personality plays, there's no role character plays. And
mm,
so what happens is that not only are these men more attracted to women who are of who are just not high value, and they of not high value, and they are the women who, yeah, you can say, are constantly involved in activities that are very much different from what other women would do, as in
yeah,
women like yourself and myself, who are concerned more about increasing our value, doing things that will better our character and personality. They don't want to do anything with us because, of course, they themselves are not concerned with education. They do not want anything to do with it. So they are happy with having a partner or a woman who also does not concern herself with any of those deeper things about life. They are more concerned about the superficial things about in life that you can finish off with, and the you can say the constant the way we have the rat race. Basically, they are
Mhm.
enjoying that, and they do not really concern themselves with education as such. So
Mm,
yeah, it all comes down to the fact that men and women together, if they understand that they are to build their characters in a manner that will not only please Allah but eventually also work in their favorism, is important. If not, then I don't see how we are doing anything with our life at all. We are not even living it. Honestly, it is all just you're just wasting your life away. You're not trying to do anything with it. You're not even attempting to make it any better, and you think that you're living your life apparently. Apparently, partying and having a lot of women and having a large number of body count, or as you've mentioned, and then probably drinking and smoking and doing things like those. Apparently, this is what living a life is to these people. So this is the reality of the world, subhanallah. We can't change it. We can't do anything to make it any better. But of course, we can just pray that Allah gives us all hidayah, keeps us on the right track. Eventually, that is what matters.
mm. And I really want all of us to remember that like we women, we need to understand that our worth isn't defined by, like you mentioned earlier, how many men like or
Exactly.
dislike us. And
Exactly. Subhanallah.
we don't we don't need to constantly chase after men who won't make us feel valid or appreciated. If a man doesn't care about um, our character, interests, accomplishments, etc., and is very dismissive about the things that matter a great deal to us, then we should really ask ourselves, what sort of a guy is he in the first place? Why should we, why should
Subhanallah. I know.
why should
I think this the problem here is there's another problem here. I think that we tend to neglect, not exactly neglect, I would say, but rather we do not concern ourselves much with it. Women are emotional creatures. Women are more emotionally tangled than men, and that is a fact. Our bodies and our minds have been made in such a way that we are more emotional. We tend to feed our emotions more, and we tend to think with our emotions more. And that is the difference between a men and women. We have differences, and this is one of the most important differences I think we tend to neglect. As a woman, because we are more emotionally functional, I would say that this is the reason why we think we need someone to appreciate us, to make us seen, to make us feel valued, to make us feel seen, and somebody who will pamper us and give us the love and the support that we desire at times. Because again, this is something that we have been built with. We This is inbuilt in us. We can't really change it. And men, they are not really emotionally built, so of course they do not really think in the same manner as we do.
mm,
So as I think as a this is the more important part here, that we need to teach our children, and especially our females, that it is important that you do not choose your emotion before choosing your self-respect, and before understanding who to give a part in your life and who not to. If you, because we are so concerned with our emotions, we do not even think about whether this person is using us, taking advantage of us, or if he or she is actually being a good person to us, or if they care for us, or if they are trying to willingly support us. But yes, I think that's another reason why we women tend to usually have this desire in us to be seen and valued, because we are more emotional than men. So we need to fix that side. I would not say you should completely neglect your emotional side. That makes us a woman. This
yeah,
emotional side that we have, that makes us women, that makes us mothers. That is the side that makes us more comforting, that makes us more lovable. So you never should do anything to harm that side. However, you should practice methods and means to make to devise a plan by through which you can have a complete balance. You can have an equilibrium, you can say, between being both emotional and being both mindful, and consciously being mindful about certain decisions that you make, not completely relying upon your emotion.
yeah. Any man who makes you feel belittled or unimportant isn't someone you should chase after ever. If he makes you feel
Ever,
bad yeah, if he makes you
ever.
feel bad for being human, then he's the problem, not you. Don't feel disheartened whenever you see men going after other women because they often do so for the wrong reasons. And the vast majority of the time, these women who they go after, they're toxic, insecure, or both. These women don't respect themselves enough to say no to these men. Who are just going to take advantage of them, and they might even know, but they
Huh.
still choose to go ahead and do XYZ. These men don't respect such women, and they only stay with them
I
for
agree.
yeah, they only stay with them for the sake of having fun. And once they get what they want, they be quick to leave them and move on to the next one. And this is just a game to them. When it comes to marriage, however, it's a completely different story. A man would
Yes,
want
it
to.
is.
Hmm?
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Marriage is a completely different story.
Oh yeah. A man would want to bring home a woman whom their parents would like and approve of. They want a woman who's loyal, who's family oriented, who sticks to her morals and values, who respects herself and others, etc. And they um they don't really want to introduce someone who's the opposite of that, right?
I agree. Yes, I do agree. They want this woman who is submissive, who is not just loyal, but also somebody who is ready to never question the, you can say, the orders that his parents will give her. Do everything blindly, never question things, never ask for anything for herself, never ask for her rights. Even I've seen that happen too. So men generally, it is quite ironical, isn't it, that people, when they want women who are, you can say, who are bold at first, like these men, the men who we're talking about, the low quality men, they usually desire women who are bolder and who are, they do not have any morals, they do not have any values per se. They, if they are pretty in their appearance, if they have a good body, that's it. That is all that they require. However, on the contrary, once they have the idea of marriage set in their mind and they have a woman they want, if they want to show their parents a woman, then they will definitely choose somebody who is the opposite of what they would have always uh, gone out with, or the kind of women he would have always gone out with, which is, I think, it's such a, I do not even know, sis. It is just really concerning to think that this is the reality of our society. Women are, in the end, it is just all just comes down to how these people really treat women, and what we, or what they think of us, and how they, what are, you can say, the image that they have in their eyes for women, specifically towards women. It's just a little, it's it's quite pathetic, really. So subhanallah, I don't, they more so they require slaves than a wife, than wives. Such men, they require slaves who will abide by everything their parents will say, and everything he will do, and everything he might be continuing to do. So
The
subhanallah.
the reality of the matter is that these low quality men, they just want sex, or they just want to treat the woman like a doormat, and or both actually. And that sort of a man, he's definitely not the right person to go after. And a real man, however, would be different. He would accept the fact that a woman is unique in the sense that there's only one version of her in this entire world. Would support her dreams and ambitions as long as what she's doing isn't wrong. He would he would also give that woman the emotional support she wants and needs, and he respects her as an individual. He wants to lead and protect her, not because he wants to be a dictator, but that will be his way of showing that he cares about her well-being and safety. And he would also understand that the woman has flaws just like everyone else, and she's human at the end of the day. And he would
Mhm.
encourage her to always strive to become a better person, and because he cares about her. A real man a real man makes a woman feel like a priority, not an option. Don't you agree?
I agree. I think it, yes, it does. It is very important that you respect each other completely. And respecting each other is also, this also includes the fact that you guys have different, men are made differently than women. So men are to understand that factor about women, and they should be respectful if a woman gets too emotional, because that is just how she's built. They need to be patient. At
Mm.
the same time, simultaneously, if a man is not really showing you emotions in the manner that you would want for him to show his emotions to you, then do not get too mad at him, because that, then again, he is also learning how to deal with emotional people, and to deal with the fact that women are made to be emotional. So I think respect really begins from understanding and accepting each other's differences. That he is different, I am also different. And if we work together, we can find a balance between each other. So I think that's also really important when it comes to the relationship between both a man and a woman.
Hmm. And I would also like to add one other thing. You know how whenever like these men they leave the high value woman for other women who are just um who are like low quality, you could say. I just don't want any of the listeners to our female listeners to feel threatened by those women, because most of the time they have nothing, but they have nothing to offer except for their looks and bodies. And none of us should ever stoop to their level for the sake of getting a man, because we're just going to, then where will our value be, right? Then
SubhanAllah,
how
SubhanAllah, I agree.
then we're pretty much going to be the same as them, and we don't want that. We want to be like, I'm not saying this in an arrogant way, but we want to be better than that, right?
Subhanallah, of course we are better than that. I mean, we are better than them in the sense that we understand things better than them. I agree that they might come off prettier in their looks, and they are different, and they are loved by men maybe, and they are easily defined. Men easily surround them all the time, and they might get all the attention that they desire. However, you are much more than that. You,
Exactly.
I do not know if it's, you're not a, I would say, you're not a honey, you're not that honeycomb, right? Where
Yeah.
you will be surrounded. You're not one of the, you're not honeycomb to be surrounded by all these kind of insects and bees and all that. So it is good to be unique. It's good to be bitter, to be honest, because only a real person then will come to try and understand and decode you and see, okay, that this person is not as I had expected them to be. That is real value. That is where you understand that, okay, this person really wants to stick with you. If he's ready to see through you, then that means he is ready to be with you, because that just shows that he is respecting you enough to understand you and to give you space at the same time, and not to rush anything between both of you. I think that's really important also here to understand, because we women, again, we tend to think only if we get a man's attention, we are valuable. That is how our society has maybe made things for us to believe as, but it is quite the opposite when you think about it, that a woman's value is always, uh it's, you can say, a woman's value is never determined by any man, by any creature for that matter. A woman is always, you can say, a woman's value is in the way she is, in the way she uh, prepares herself, in the way she adorns herself, in the way she behaves, in the way she talks, in the way she presents herself. That is a real woman. A real woman works on her character, on her personality, on the quality that she can serve. And yes, so if you are one of that, if you are one of those women who are constantly engaged in seeking knowledge and bettering themselves, then never think that um you're not worth anything good, or that just because nobody's giving you attention does not mean that you should go back to becoming like them, or just returning back to the path that you had come from. So as an advice to all the women viewers here, just never do that. Always understand that your value is in being the best woman that you can be. Always better yourself every day. Do whatever it takes to become more stronger, more capable. Never let any man tell you that you are not worth it, or that you are way too strict or stern or very confident, or you seem arrogant, or you are rude. Never let anyone tell you that. So yes, I would advise, I will advise that to everyone here.
Thank you.
women view success.
Thank you, sis. That's really great advice. And I had such a wonderful conversation today. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope the rest of your evening goes well. Thank you and take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me as well, and I hope the same for you. And wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.